Welcome to the Leg It Sportcast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neild.
Before we kick things off, a little plug to Impact Chauffeurs. So, Impact Chauffeurs are a chauffeur service. They do VIP transport, executive transport, events transport, specialty security, convoy transport, airport transport, city tours, golf tours, long journeys. They're more than suited to the customer that requires more than just a regular taxi. Sean, who started it in 2009, they've been going strong since then. They provided transport to blue chip companies, customers, sports stars, including loads in the industry, entertainment industry. And yeah, they've got relationships with MTK Global, Matchroom, Sky Sports, all that kind of stuff. So that's the blurb out the way. Main point being, check them out.
Yeah. 100%.
Impact Chauffeurs for me, they're just straight away. Airport transfers would be the big one.
Yeah, we're going to need them hopefully in a couple of weeks. So
yeah.
Hopefully everyone books them.
Hopefully in the summer, yeah. Check them out on Instagram. It is impact_chauffeurs. I'll tag them in this video. But thanks for the support, lads, in sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Impact Chauffeurs, again, check them out. Their Instagram is great. The cars look great that they're chauffeuring everyone around in. So yeah, check them out. Boom. Sportscast time. Sportscast time, George.
Big week in sport, actually, really.
I've enjoyed it, you know.
Yeah.
I knew that had happened. I'd moan about it. For ages now. I'm like, yeah.
No, to be honest, I'm loving it myself. I mean, we had a decent weekend last weekend with the boxing and the UFC and stuff being on. Then the Euros. You know, Real Ascot's been on this week and still on this week. So yeah, it's been really good week. So
you've got a bit of a story about your tip last week.
Yeah.
I'll just again apologise for Wales. I mean, they were lucky to get a draw, weren't they?
I know. They just looked out of it, didn't they?
Yeah. They looked out of it watching it, and then I looked on the stats, and they were just the stats were even more shocking. So apologies for my Wales tip.
Yeah, I put Drew Dober up, KO, TKO. I was really confident, to be honest. Like, I thought that it was going to be a brilliant fight, and he just had too much power. I was a bit wrong. It ended up going to a decision, but it was fight of the night. It was an absolute. They just battered each other for 3 rounds. Fair play to Brad Riddell. Dober actually hit him first round. I thought, here we go, we're in. He somehow weathered the storm, come back, threw heavy shots himself, took more heavy shots, and ended up getting a decision. I mean, Dober went for the finish in that first round. I think blew himself out a little bit.
Gassed out a bit.
Yeah, but they both got, I think 75 grand now, yeah, because they got fight of the night. Because it was like, if anyone's looking for something to do this week, go watch Drew Dober, Brad Riddell. They just left it.
I haven't actually seen it, so I will do that.
It's 3 rounds, and they just both took what they like the best the other person had, and give a little bit more. It was just, I was like down in my living room standing over it. But yeah, the other bets that I mentioned on the podcast last week, but I didn't commit to because I was most confident in Dober. So we had Brandon Moreno, who said the underdog. He ended up winning, choked the champion out, becoming the first Mexican UFC champion.
Saying that, yeah.
Shakur Stevenson got a decision over in the States, and I said Ritson might get beat, and that he did. Got absolutely obliterated. So
your banker that you kind of penned in for this let you down, and how much would it have been for?
I think I was on for a good couple of grand, like, because I said I never do accumulators ever. So I backed them all singles, so I ended up being,
You were up.
I was up anyway, but then I had a bit of money in the account, so just to round it up, put them all together, I put like 20 quid on or something, and then it's just looked at it the next morning, I thought, tell you what, that's unlucky that.
That's close.
Yeah, I think like I put them up on Instagram and Twitter, and a few people had messaged me and said they jumped on and stuff, which is good. But yeah, I mean, the main talking point, Ritson got, I don't know if you've seen the Lewis-Ritson fight.
No.
So he got, I said this guy was coming over undefeated, could punch a little bit. I didn't think he'd get a fair crack on the scorecards, but didn't need it. He ate Lewis-Ritson early first round, I think the third as well, body shots just landed on him. Ritson couldn't take them. And then in the 10th, he had him sort of gone. And Lewis-Ritson's corner threw the towel in to end the fight. The ref picked the towel up and said no, threw it back out, and then ended up stopping it anyway. But like the referee to take that on and say like, no, you're not stopping it, which is dangerous stuff, because if Ritson got hurt, the ref was there to be shot at, really. But yeah, I mean, Ponce came over and done the business. So,
fair play to him.
To be honest, to come over, as I said to you before, like I love the UK boxing and stuff, but to come over here now, you really are risking a lot. And he come over and he left an absolutely
I couldn't
no
believe
doubt.
that when you said that. I always thought it was like a German thing.
It was a German thing, but we just jumped over. But we're just, I don't know, we're just sort of, that's where we're at. And like that thing with Steve Gray, the ref, where he's like, you know, not accepting a white towel. It's like, it's not helping. You know what I mean? It's sort of, it's shining even in a
That's
even
happened
in a
before, though, hasn't it? I've seen that before.
Yeah, but it's not very often. But
no.
Essentially, the ref's role is to keep the both fighters safe. It's not for anything else. As long as they get out of that ring safe, you've done your job. And if his corner, who know him, are saying, right, that's enough, who's he to say no?
But the ref not argued, though. He's up close and seeing it a bit better.
Yeah, that's what his argument was. He said that he was taking body shots, they weren't headshots, he weren't in danger. But, you know, it's a seriously...
No, I know what you mean, yeah.
It's you know, if, God forbid, something did happen to Lewis Ritson that night, then who gets blamed, you know what I mean? Because he took a lot of damage. You know what would be dead
interesting, next box we get on, I wanted to ask... So in a roundabout way, you'll know what I'm going to say, but... So I remember when I was climbing this mountain in Argentina, right? And it was fucking freezing, lad. Like, so cold, right? And we were about 2 hours away from the summit, and the weather turned, and it was freezing. And I was surrounded by all special forces lads, you know, Marines, paras, all like, you know, big egos, big personalities. And genuinely, right, whether people lose respect for me for saying this, I was done. I was like ready to quit. And even though we were so close to this mountain, I was like, I don't care. But I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, I'm fucking done here. And anyway, the lead guide turned around and said, right, lads, that's it, we're done. And kind of called it anyway. And as they're coming down, everyone's gutted. Everyone's like, oh, fucking gutted there. And I was like, yeah, me too.
Fucking get it.
But I'm wondering if when you're in a fight, if there are fighters who are secretly, and they'll never admit it, but if there are people who are like, oh, thank God he stopped that.
Yeah, I think you see it, you're like, when you're watching, you sometimes see a fighter not give much of a, you know, oh, what'd you do that for? You can sort of see, and then maybe after it, when, you know, they're back to the ego, they go, no, I didn't want it to get stopped, but, you know, I'd love to know that myself, like the thought of someone. You know, Lewis Ritson was done, like, he's a tough man. He took serious body shots, and like, you know, we'll talk to boxers in the future, and many of them have told me that it's not the headshots that hurt. It's the ones in and around the liver and the kidneys that get you. And he took so many of them. He had nothing left. He was outgunned. He was, you know, outpowered. And I don't actually, you know, he didn't really argue with himself, so maybe he did know he was done.
It's not something that I don't imagine anyone would admit to.
No. It'd be great if someone did, though. Yeah. Just give that.
I was so happy when the ref threw it. When the ref stopped the rummy corner through the towel.
But I think when going back to Billy Joe with Canelo the other week, sort of, I know he was really hurt, but you could sort of see on his face that he was like, okay, do you know what I mean? I'm done. But you know, it's that mentality of a combat athlete, isn't it? It's not a normal way to make a living. No. It's not a normal thing to do.
I always remember, lad, we were going down, everyone's like, oh, we're so close. I was like, I know, gutted.
Should we go back?
I made up.
No, I've done it myself. Like as I said, the reason I love boxing so much and UFC, well, MMA, it's because I know I couldn't do it at their level, like, and that's why I have mad respect for them.
Totally,
so I can sort of, that's the reason I sort of want to get to know them and want to get to know the sport more. But yeah, they're just a different breed.
We also had Leon Edwards, so our big sponsors, Monterex, sponsor him, and he beat Diaz.
Yeah, he was flawless for 24 minutes and took one right on the chops.
Well, I done what you always tell me, and I didn't look at the results and nothing until I went on YouTube the next day and watched the highlights. And then you texted and said, oh, you know, I seen the messages in the group with the Monterex lads, and said, oh, the last minute. And I was thinking, what's happened here?
He was flawless. He was absolutely brilliant for I thought he was going to take Diaz out, and to be honest, he probably could have, but Diaz is a seriously tough fella. And I think there was 1 minute and 9 seconds to go. Diaz just throws one bomb, just lands right on the
middle,
and he was dancing for a minute. But as I said to you, sort of before we started recording, I see it as a bonus for Leon Edwards, because you know he's shown that he can take the biggest of shots. It's one of them things, you've got to tick the box. You know what I mean? You've eventually got to get it, and you've got to show that you can take it. Yeah,
weathered the storm perfectly, didn't he?
And you know, I don't know. You know, I think he was on, you know, very unsteady legs for a long time, but he got through it. You know, finished the fight on his feet, and he won the fight absolutely clearly. But he's such a brilliant mixed martial artist. Like,
I mean, he had everything in his locker. Again, you know far more than me, but he seems to be whipping Diaz up when he wanted. He was just throwing kicks to the leg when he wanted. He was jabbing when he wanted.
Them leg kicks were disgusting.
Yeah,
just taken away. But yeah, he can do. That's his strength. His strength is that he doesn't have a big strength. He's just really good at everything. And like,
it was great to watch that. I think the 24-minute highlight, I think it was on.
Yeah.
Might have been the full or the extended highlights anyway on YouTube were brilliant. I couldn't believe
it was great to see the respect of both of them at the end as well. They were, they embraced and stuff like that. And I think Leon Edwards probably learnt more in them 5 rounds at Diaz than he's probably learnt in his entire career, really. Do you know what I mean? Because he's learnt that no matter how good he is and how far ahead he is, it's one shot and it's done.
He done the tweet at the end, didn't he, about Diaz having a little kind of pop at the UFC saying, make sure you name your price, because if you don't, they'll name it for you.
Diaz is one of the very few fighters in combat sports entirely. He dictates what happens. There's very few fighters. A lot of fighters are told, this is your date, this is your pace. Either be there or someone else will. Whereas he's in that glory position of like, this is when I'll fight, this is who I'll fight, this is the weight I'm fighting at, this is what you're paying me. And that's where more fighters have got to get to.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we had this conversation the other week, last week, about the media and athletes and stuff, but sport, like the UFC or Matchroom, DAZN, Sky Sports, they don't exist without these people. You know what I mean? And obviously, like, the sport aren't big without them, but it should never get twisted that the fighters are the number one come out. They rule the roost.
Yeah, totally.
And they should be dictating as to where and what happens.
There definitely aren't enough fighters who have that kind of that say and that kind of look. This is how it's going to be.
Comes back from back in the day with like Tyson and stuff, and Don King and them taking money, and the promoters being loaded, the fighters being broke. It doesn't make sense, but we're getting to a point now, or we're on the way to a point where fighters and athletes are businessmen now. They're like, they're not the McGregor and the Mayweather stuff. They know what goes in and they know what goes out like any other business, and they balance it in order to be a success. And it's not so much I'm just a fighter now, pay me whatever.
Yeah. I seen Mayweather say that before he started his own promotions brand, he hadn't made more than 10 million in a fight. And then the second he did, that was it then. He never made less than 10.
Because there's so many overheads at that level. Like, you see these paces and someone say, oh, he's getting 35 million for that. But he's got probably 2 trainers, a promoter, a nutritionist, an S&C coach. Everyone's taking 5-10%. And when you add them up, you go 5-10%. Suddenly you're starting
and then you're getting taxed 50%.
Yeah, suddenly you're starting to hit 45% of your earnings is going out. You're getting taxed the other bit. And you're the one who's getting underpaid.
Well, that's it. You sound like you go, he's made 50 million. You think, wow. But then if straight away he's given, say, 30-40% of it to his team, essentially.
Yeah.
What's that? Maybe 15-20 million. So he's walking away with 30 mil, and then he's getting taxed half of it.
And you don't get
15 mil is still a lot of money. But when it's getting branded, he's made 50. Well, actually,
you say
made
15. You say 15 million is great money, but they then have a lifestyle that you've got to earn 15 million because you've got to pay for what you've got, and then you get paid maybe twice a year. You're not getting paid every month.
Yeah, there's mortgages and 300 quid a month, is it?
And you're not going to work and then getting paid at the end of the month. You get paid when you fight, and you don't get paid till you fight. So everyone's backdated to do your own money too. It's not an easy and I'd love to get. We've got a couple of boss guests lined up, but I'd love to get someone on who can shine a bit of a light on it, and just let people know exactly what it is. But next time you see a boxer or a an MMA fighter and you're thinking, he's earning loads of money, just remember what goes into the behind the scenes. It's not an easy life at all.
Totally, mate.
But yeah, we had a bit of more news in boxing. Eddie's obviously left Sky now. He's gone, so he's gone to DAZN.
They've smashed it, £2 a month. That's what, isn't it?
$199. Yeah, so
I'm signed up.
Starts July 31st with the fight camp stuff.
How are they doing that? No, it's off subject a second in regard to a business.
It's like that over the top service, isn't it? It's like Netflix. I mean, it's not going to be $199 forever. It sort of increments over time.
Okay.
But what they're doing is the $199 gets you in, same way Netflix did. You start watching it, you go, right, the $4.99, no problem. $7.99, no problem. Okay. I'm like, I pay $11.99 or something for Netflix now. It was like 99p when I signed up. It just sort of, they get you in, and then they start just.
Yeah, it's brilliant though.
It is brilliant. Hopefully it does away with. Not pay-per-view forever, because pay-per-view's got its place, but you know, pay-per-views every other week.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if we can get everything, and it's sort of the world we're living in now. We all want stuff on demand. You know, we all want to park up in a hotel room when we're at work, and we don't have to go down the bar and say you've got the boxing on. You just go bang, your laptop's on, or your phone, or...
Of course.
Everyone's on the move. You know, it's just a new world.
So he's officially there now?
Yeah, so July 31st he starts with a 3-week run for Fight Camp, which he announced this week. Our own Jazza Dickens, obviously, in week 2 of that, fighting for the world title.
Can't wait for that.
You know, in a rematch against Kid Galahad. But Kid Galahad was pissing hot last time. Done for drugs right after, so...
Was he?
Yeah, well, I think...
Straight after Jazza's fight?
I don't know if it was straight, maybe it wasn't long after. But he said his brother put something in his drink or something.
Really?
Yeah. Whatever his brother's putting in, he had massive muscles after it. You know, you're looking good, lad.
If he wants to put any of that in my drink,
yeah. But he's sort of... Kid Galahad's one of them who pissed hot, and so Jazza can sort of get that one back. I mean, they're very well, like, you know, all drugs aside and all that stuff, they're very well matched. It's a great fight, but, you know, I know Jazz is a friend of the podcast and stuff, but he is on an upward trajectory.
Yeah.
You know, his last performance was flawless.
Unbelievable, yeah.
And, you know, he's one of them fighters that probably doesn't get the headlines or the credit he deserves, but he's a brilliant fighter. I
know when I see a good fight, when I speak to people who know the fight game. I remember speaking to the lads in the Rotunda after Jazz last fought. And listen, I'm a fan, I can go, wow, that, you know, he looked good there. But it's when I hear the likes of the lads in the Rotunda going, wow, it's the best I've seen Jazza box that.
He was brilliant.
That's when you know he's smashing it as well. When boxing trainers, you know, experts, if you like, are saying, hey, nah, he's flying.
The thing with Jazza is he's such, like, obviously one of the nicest people within boxing. Yeah. But, you know, he has got that switch and he's going to need that Fight Camp. You know, I'd love him to win. Bring another world title back to Liverpool, but I think if he wins a world title, he's pretty much clocked the game, mate, and I hope he then goes on and earns enough money that he can, you know, secure his family and stuff like that. But yeah, if he can get that world title back here, the world's his oyster. Yeah.
So no doubt more about that. We'll try and get him on if we can before or straight after it. But yeah, best of luck to Jazza.
But yeah, that meant Sky Sports then. So obviously he's gone to DAZN. Sky Sports then signed a deal with Top Rank, which is the, you know, a bit too late. They could have had Josh Taylor on the other week when we were all kicking off. Yeah. But yeah, it's you know, interesting to see what Sky Sports will do now, because they've signed to Top Rank, but that's sort of the US stuff, so it's at 3 and 4 in the morning stuff. They signed with a smaller company in the UK called Boxer, but it's sort of Boxer, I don't know if you've seen it, it's like one of them, it's like Prize Fighter, 3-minute rounds, like there's like musical acts on and stuff like that, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. But yeah, it's all change in the world of boxing at the moment.
Conor Ben's fighting on that.
Yeah, he's on
camp week 3, I think, isn't he?
So he's got Adrian Granados, which is a really good fight again. Just signed a new 5-fight deal with Eddie, so I'm sure he's doing alright for himself now.
I've seen his card on Instagram.
Yeah, he was after the little unveiling, he was having a bit of murder with another fighter, Florian Marku, who's like a, you know, much like sort of earlier in his journey than Conor Ben, but you know, them two, they let on to each other, and then they were having a chat, and then within 2 minutes, fuck you.
Really?
Yeah, you're shit. But yeah, you know, Conor Ben's a superstar in waiting, as we've said before.
Yeah. I see in here, we won't touch too much on it because it'll be in a few weeks, but I see in the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
That's kind of started again.
Yeah, so, you know, as we record this, they've had the press conference. I think they had a 5-minute stare off.
Is that a lot? I knew it was a long time, I didn't know it was 5 minutes.
But Wilder sat with his headphones on, refused to answer questions and stuff like that, and you know, you look at that one or two ways, don't you? You look at that as either that he's not getting involved in the shit, or that's a man who's, you know, knows he physically can't be in the same room as Tyson Fury because he can't deal with it.
Well, what I thought was quite rich coming from Tyson Fury is he saying, which is probably true, that he said, you know, Wilder is taking the fight for the wrong reasons, which I think he probably is.
Yeah.
However, I felt like saying, when he then went on to say, I've been preparing for 18 months now to do this. I think, no, you fucking haven't.
No, fucking Instagram.
You've been thinking about Joshua, giving him shit. You weren't thinking about this just as much as Wilder wasn't thinking about this.
I mean, to be honest, like, you know, we always go back to betting on here, but I'm not, that fight, like, if anyone asks me for a tip, all I'm going to say is just do not touch the fight, just watch it, because, you know, the thing John Fury was saying, I know he's saying, why is Tyson over there? He's got all these yes men around him. Them for me, from his dad, just red flags straight away. Where's Tyson at? You know, where's Wilder at? He could be going in there just to get paid, because he, as we were saying before, he's got a lot of overheads. Yeah. But, you know, Fury could smash him. Wilder could land that punch. just one of them, just leave it and just watch it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not the fight any of us want, but, you know, we're all going to watch it, I imagine.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching it. We also had the Euros, mate, start this week.
Yeah, good start for England.
Yeah, I went to watch the match with the lads, and I don't think none of us watched the screen, but there was loads of students there who were all at the England tops on and all that, and it was quite funny to see.
I had my mate's suit fitting, so I'm a groomsman at my mate's wedding, you know, fingers crossed, all this stuff. But so after that, Beer Keller, where we did the live event, helped me get a table in there for everyone. Shout out to them. And it was full of God Save the Queen, like England.
Did you have your England top on?
I was going, go on, Modric. And they're going mad. There was beers getting thrown when they scored and all that stuff. But, you know, going back, I weren't very impressed with England at all. Like, I thought it just looked like a classic England start of a tournament thing.
Yeah, I was taking the piss a bit, going, come on England, come on Harry.
Kane looked slow, didn't he? Kane just didn't look there. But...
And he's injured again.
I know.
He's hobbling a bit. We literally both said the questions are whether over his fitness.
But I think the thing with England is, and like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, like, you know, anti-England and stuff, but save that for Twitter. But like, you know, we've now seen France and Portugal. Their best players didn't play great, but you know, you look how many their teams full of match winners. Do you know what I mean? Well,
I seen this. This is quite funny, and this is obviously a bit of a take the piss thing out of Everton. But joking aside, it's so Germany versus France. 19 players started. I've got either a Champions League or a World Cup medal. England starting 11. I've got Walker, Stones, Foden, Sterling, all with Premier League medals. Mason Mount, Champions League winner, and Kieran Trippier, La Liga winner. Like that's it type thing. And the joke was Jordan Pickford, who won 20 quid on a spot the ball last week. But I just think, yeah, again, I'm not here to, you know, bash England either. You know, listen, if they did win it, it'd be great. Do you know what I mean? It would be nice if they did win it. But when you watch that France-Germany game,
the levels, isn't it? Yeah.
And England's nowhere near those levels.
I mean, you know, our little podcast tip of Portugal started well. I mean, they didn't play well.
No.
But that win is why I think they'll win it, because they don't have to play well. They can just, like, you know, Jota had a nightmare, missed a few chances. They brought that kid Rafa on. He won a penalty. Ronaldo didn't do nothing. Scores 2. You know, I think the left back chipped in with a goal or something like that. Like, they didn't even put that kid on, Felix from Atletico Madrid. Like, the squad's just daft.
It is, and I think I still fancy them to top the group. One of the reasons as well, that game between France and Germany took so much out of them. I think, especially Germany, they put a lot in there and they didn't get the results.
Germany just looked like a team to me, just like, obviously full of great players and that, but their peak is sort of on its way down, isn't it? Like where they were at.
Yeah.
You know, they still got like Muller knocking about, and the guy at the back, Hummels, who was just, you know,
the names that just seem to have been around forever, don't they?
I think they're only like 32 or something, but they've been in the squad for so long. I mean, Mbappe was like getting at that Hummels and just sort of breezing past them. I mean, France are a danger. I think they're going very deep into the tournament.
Yeah, they look good, didn't they?
Kante again, mate. Honest to God, I don't think I've seen a player like that in a long time.
He's great, isn't he? And the size of him.
He just does everything.
Yeah.
1 minute he's taking it off like the toes of a striker, then he's in number 10, threading through balls. Then he's like winning the ball. Oh, he's brilliant.
Mbappe is good to watch, isn't he, as well?
Yeah,
how fast he is.
He's so dynamic, isn't he? I mean, the goal he got disallowed was unbelievable finish, and he's just, you know, still a young lad, still a very, very exciting talent. And you know, to give credit to something that's not football related, I was loving the commentary for once. Ali McCoist's alright.
I like Ali McCoist.
I usually watch everything on mute. I was actually enjoying Ali McCoist. Just like a normal fella talking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
In a pub, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple of sort of good things from the Euros for me. VAR being one of them. I'm a big anti-VAR man. But they seem to be working it absolutely fine.
It's how quick they sort it.
It just must be England. We just fucked it up.
How have we fucked it up though?
I don't know.
Because you never hear the kind of carry on around Europe during the season, do you?
We don't see all this line stuff, do we? Like, just there was one last night, and come on, yeah, offside, bang, done. Wasn't like, right, I'm going over to the side, and here's Peter Walton. Just like, it's not a goal. End off. Yeah. I mean, would not have it. I'd still get rid of it, but if it works like that, then I can deal with it.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah. Right. Mate, did you see the goal against Scotland as well?
Yeah.
what a goal that was.
He's a good player, him. I've never even heard of him before. Stich or something.
Stich, yeah.
Scored an header, then he scored that.
Unbelievable goal. I felt a bit sorry there for Scotland, but again...
They had a couple of players missing, but... I've nailed my colours to Scotland, so I'm in with a long goal.
I think Scotland and Wales aren't getting off the group now, are they?
I think it's going to be... It's uphill, isn't it? But, it was great to see Scotland obviously back. Their national anthem went off, all the players were going for it.
Yeah. But, seeing that Robbo was having a good singing song, wasn't he?
Robertson was brilliant, by the way. If he'd have been like that for us this year, we'd have been all right.
No, totally.
But, he was brilliant. But, the game, against England's huge, obviously. I hope it's competitive, I hope it's a good game, but... as you say, it's an uphill battle for Scotland now, but I think we might have already seen the finalists, to be honest, Portugal, France, if you asked me to put money down.
Yeah, mate, I agree. The other sad thing, mate, was the Eriksen. How crazy was that? I didn't actually see it happen. No. My phone just started exploding, and I think if I'm right in saying this as well, you can't actually go back and see what happened to him. I think Twitter.
Hope so, yeah.
Yeah, which I think's right, because how horrible would it be to be at home watching your son play? I think obviously his wife must have been in the ground, maybe.
She ran on the pitch, and I think it was Kasper Schmeichel or someone like that sort of ran over to her and given her a hug and stuff. But my mate put it on one of the groups I'm in, and I was working on my laptop at the time, so I just put BBC iPlayer on, because it's a little bit behind. I sort of seeing the scenes of him being on the floor and stuff. It was just shocking, because he sort of went from running to sort of collapsed.
I think what was more shocking, in the sense that what's come out now, is that basically they got told that you've got 24 hours to play it. You've just seen your mate have a heart attack, and they're saying, right, you're playing now in 24 hours. I think the manager
said that, didn't he? He said, if we get COVID, it gets one of the managers in
48 hours or something.
That again goes back to what we were talking about last week, though, about the broadcasting thing. Fundamentally, this sounds terrible, but it's true. They don't care.
No.
They want the game played, and that's that. And this contract signed and there's money coming in, it needs to be played. But, credit to the Danish, credit to was it Finland, was it? Credit to them as well, and credit to the Danish players who reacted, unbelievably. I think his teammate actually saved his life in the end, didn't he?
That, yeah.
Which is just incredible. They were, Kasper Schmeichel as well was getting all his players around him as like the captain, and to do that to your teammate, but to your mate.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? It's not a situation many people get put in their life. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you talk about the broadcasters and the money. Did you see the thing where Ronaldo moved the Coke bottle?
Oh yeah, the Coke, yeah.
Well, I thought, chatting to the lads this morning I'll go to the game with, I thought that'd be, Coke would be not made up, but it's like that kind of no news is bad news thing. It's got people talking about Coca-Cola and stuff like that. But it's come out and said that Cristiano Ronaldo has cost the drinks brand Coca-Cola billions of dollars after he removed the bottle from in front of him during a press conference, instead telling people to drink water. What seemed a fairly innocuous move has sent the company's share price to fall $4 billion.
So it doesn't surprise me, because it's like anything. Like, I remember when I was a kid, if Gerrard wore tape around his shinnies, we'd all wear tape around our shinnies, and if Gerrard wore Predator, we'd all wear Predator boots. And it's the same, like, kids are now going to go, because kids are so accessible to all this stuff now with social media. I'm not drinking Coke. Do you know what I mean?
Ronaldo doesn't.
Ronaldo doesn't drink Coke, I'm not drinking Coke. And
I very naively thought that, it's got people talking, and it's that kind of thing, But yeah,
it's where they're at, though. People like Ronaldo, innit? He's so powerful with what he does. You only got to see his celebration. You go to any pitch in the world, an amateur pitch, some kid does that celebration when they score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kids want to be Ronaldo. They want to look up to Ronaldo, and what he does, kids do. And
I'm not jealous or envious of anyone, but I wouldn't mind being him, to be fair.
I've had one of them things, like, my whole life I've just been like, fuck Ronaldo. Messi's better.
Well, mate,
and I do believe he is, but what he does and what he's doing is just ridiculous, mate.
It's incredible. I have always been Team Messi, but Ronaldo is just like, it's like you're happily married and you love your wife to bits, but then this absolute world, he just walks down the beach and you put your glasses on and you just have
ready to risk it all.
It's like he's unbelievable. And his age, what is he, 36, I think?
I don't know what he is, but he's not slowing down anytime soon.
But he's got everything, hasn't he? Yeah. He's tall, he's athletic, he's that big game player.
The best thing about him now is he used to be, he kind of still is, but he used to be like, he'd beat players and he'd be rapid. Now he's becoming like, he's sort of like dictating games without being in midfield. He's on it, he starts little moves, he's dead sharp. His goal scoring's not slowed up at all. He's probably the fittest player on the pitch still.
He's the only player to play in 5 different Euros and score in 5 different Euros.
Just an absolute phenomenon. But
101 goals, I think he scored for his country. Might even be more than that, I think, but...
You know, if he does win the Euros with them, he's starting to get to the point, like, what's the point in you playing anymore? You're just winning it. Like, just give up.
It's like unfair, isn't it?
Give us a go. But yeah, it's, you know, as it's just to reiterate, like, obviously, terrible what happened to Eriksen, and, you know, I think that'll be the last thing we all look at back at the Euros, but on a whole, really enjoyed it. Yeah. More than I thought I would.
Same.
And, yeah, long may it continue.
Same. What have you got on for this weekend, then?
To be honest, we lost the best boxing fight of the weekend, Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos. Lopez tested positive for the old C word, which is a killer. So that falls off. That goes to now to August, and I'm gutted because I was all in on Lopez by KO. For, you know, that was me big.
That was your big bet.
I was waiting for the prices to come out today, and I said to a few someone on Instagram who messaged me saying, sort of said,
have you got people messaging you now for tips? Have you on Instagram?
Yeah, just got boxing. It's great. It's like, you're always on your phone, you. But yeah,
we need to set up a little. I know we do. We need to start getting a proper tipping service.
Yeah, we loaded. But yeah, so, you know, I said anything over evens, I'll be made up. But yeah, that's obviously fell off. Not much we can do about that. You know, there's a bit more. Inoue, which he's a bantamweight, he's an absolute monster. KO artist, he's on, but he's gonna KO his opponent, sort of a layup. Jamel Charlo's the same, bit of a layup. So it's a quiet week for boxing. Quiet week for UFC. Really, there's a UFC fight night card. Chan Sung Jung and Dan Ige. Chan Sung Jung, also known as Korean Zombie. That's his nickname, but everyone just calls him it.
Really?
Like,
yeah.
Even the commentators, they're like, yeah, great shot by the Korean Zombie. But yeah, he's got a great story actually. He was like on the edge of a featherweight. He didn't have a title shot, but he weren't far off. He got enlisted for like national service or something like that. Had to go and do national service, then he come back and he's had a couple of fights now, but he's never never got the momentum back. Fighting Dan Ige, whose nickname is 50k because he always gets performance of the night or fight of the night.
That's a decent nickname.
Because so that should be a really good sort of under the radar little scrap.
Just the thing, mate. You know, on in sport and nicknames, I remember listening to Fowler once, and he said that there was a lad who played for Everton, and I think his surname was Good, and his nickname was Not Very.
It's great, isn't it? I loved the boxing ones as well. There's a lad in I don't know if his official one's Aljamain Sterling, but there's a little thing they call him the backpack because he's boss at choking people out. It's just great though. If I was a boxer or MMA fighter, I'd just get right on board with that stuff. But yeah, I think so. It's sort of quiet week on the sort of combat front. Still probably, still throw up a good few fights. And then we've got Royal Ascot knocking about. And
I was thinking if you had any tips for me in Ascot this week.
To be honest, I haven't had many tips for Ascot, but obviously the Dragon Symbol, who we tipped up a few weeks ago, and he got beat by a nose on soft ground that he hated. He's in the Commonwealth Cup. We told you to get on at the time. I think he was 10 or 12 to 1.
I got him at 9, I think.
Yeah, now he's about 4 or 5 this morning. The ground's in his favour right now. I'm
excited for this.
His ground's in the favour right now. We need it to be, and we need that rain to just off a bit. But yeah, if we can get to Friday 3:40, and if we can get there with decent ground, not too much rain, we're on.
I told John Paul's on this. He texted me again saying that he tried to put more money on it. It was like, your maximum stake has come up.
Yeah, it's me now. Tell you what,
he was like, your maximum stake for this is £1.50. I don't know how much he's put on it.
Yeah, so everyone should sort of get on that and sort of let's hope. But yeah, we need to keep this rain away a little bit. But we ran on soft ground that last time in a Group 2, which is obviously a lower level, and he just got chinned, but he would have hated the ground. So we can get this ground right. Just every little bit of information that I'm getting, and that he's flying. So
fingers crossed. Dragon Symbol 3:40.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's going to be my tip this week as well.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm going to bend on that because. So I'm doubling. So we've been saying it for weeks that's going to win, and I'm going in the tipping competition. So if it loses,
you're fucked.
The next week's show is cancelled. Just be me here busking it.
Mate, well, I hope I'm on it. So I hope it comes in. So that'll be a decent return then if it's going to be your tip. So we'll get that in now at 4 to 1.
4 to 1, yeah. But like, I think there might be a couple of boxing bets this week, but it's a bit too early for us to be getting the sort of most of the market. So I'll try and put them up as well on social media for people.
Make sure you're following George as well. He's always banging in decent tips and stuff. So I'm trying to see what price it is. Anyway, we'll go with that. My bet is Portugal.
Yeah?
Germany.
Oh, yeah.
So they play, is it Friday or Saturday? Let me just double check. It is Saturday.
It's not even a tipping competition this week. We're just all in, aren't we?
That way. Proper nailed me to the mast. 23-10 here on Bet365. 23-10. They're playing Germany. Few reasons. Obviously, we've mentioned a lot of them already about Ronaldo. I also think, after having watched that game, that will have took a lot out of Germany.
Yeah. Legs-wise, definitely.
Legs-wise, I think, Portugal, although they didn't put it to bed till quite late against Hungary, it was an easy game to start with.
Yeah.
It was a game that they needed to win, and they did. I think Germany, a bit more pressure on them now, having lost the first one. Germany need to win this, and I just think Portugal, everything we've said about them, the squad depth, the match winners in Ronaldo, just the quality all around, plus the main thing though being that Germany, that France game will took a lot out of them.
No, I think it's a good play, and I think, as you say, Germany have got to go for it, and that suits Portugal down to the ground if they're committing, and then you're breaking with, the likes of Jota and Ronaldo.
Jota's quick.
He is. And do you know what? He's not even at the top of his game. Since that, he's sort of carried them little injuries into it. Like, he looked sharp in the last game, but we weren't at 100%, so I think he's only going to get better as the tournament goes on.
I agree, yeah.
And him and Ronaldo have got a lovely little thing if Ronaldo wants to come play for Liverpool.
Great little friendship.
But I think it's a good play, but
that'd be a nice little double, that.
Yeah, put that on myself.
Yeah. Anything else going on?
No, it's as I say, it's all football dominated, isn't it, really? I say it's a bit of a quiet week. I should have a few sort of bets across the UFC and the boxing, but just a bit later in the week, so
yeah, we'll get them up on your stories.
We'll fire them up, and just a bit of a hope that Scotland can get a result against England.
I know we haven't even mentioned that. We should finish off talking about that. That's on the Saturday, isn't it?
No, Friday it is.
Is it Friday?
Friday, 8 o'clock, yeah.
You know what's happened as well?
Robbo, little screaming at Wembley.
You know what I nearly got a chance to do on England? I got asked to go and kind of, not commentate, but do a bit of post-match analysis alongside Michael Carrick.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
And it's fucking cancelled, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Because of all this COVID thing. So that was my chance to kind of...
Yeah, throw your expertise over.
what I think here, Michael, what you should have done.
Just end up in a suit.
Forget your 7. He's won everything, by the way.
No, some player, Carrick.
Well, I've done a bit of Googling on him and stuff, trying to prep. Yeah. Pre-match analysis with Michael Carrick. No, lad, he's won everything.
Player.
No, I tell a lie. The only thing he hasn't won is the Super Cup.
His passing range was ridiculous.
So underrated when you think Michael Carrick, that whole Gerrard Lampard Scholes thing. He should be in that debate a little bit more. Not saying he's in, but no one ever thinks of Michael Carrick.
I'm a little bit of it. Now he's retired. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast past episodes, but I'm a bit of a Sir Alex Ferguson fanboy, as a person. Yeah. And listen, I always take his opinion on football seriously, obviously, but his opinion of Carrick is huge.
Is it?
Yeah, he's for years Michael Carrick was what Man United was sort of built on. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And he's just, his passing range, right foot, left foot, couldn't move, couldn't run, didn't need to.
Yeah.
But I think he's just one of them. He's just so sort of, he was unlucky. He was in the sort of pomp of his career around other dynamic, big personality midfielders. Do you know what I mean? No,
I agree. So yeah, I won't be doing that with Michael. I'm sure he's gutted.
Yeah, but I hope, he's dying to meet you. But, I just hope England-Scotland's a good game. I just hope it's an entertaining game.
There's so many of them reminiscing about the Gascoigne, isn't there, and stuff and all that. And
I was getting on the yellow cards. Loads of yellows.
Well, I think the bet to do if you're gonna have a little bet with your kind of heart would be Foden. Yeah. There's all the similarities between him and Gaza.
Yeah.
A little man of the match or something for Foden against Scotland. I think might be a cheeky little bet.
Interesting to see what they do with teams, because obviously Scotland were missing a few players, weren't they? Like Tierney and Shea Adams and stuff like that. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with teams and whether England bring in the likes of Grealish, who didn't get a minute.
Mm-hmm.
When he went, go back to beer Keller, when he started warming up, the whole place went mad. The camera went on him and everyone was going, yes, he obviously didn't get on. That kid Jude Bellingham got on. He looks a serious footballer, but
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what they do with the teams, because I think a few of the England players didn't really perform, Obviously Scotland have left gaps in there for players to go and play, but yeah, I just hope it's a good game.
Yeah, same, hope it's a good game, yeah. And a massive little thanks as well, just to all the support. And over the last few weeks, we've had a few messages, particularly for the Sportscast. It's becoming a bit of a Friday morning ritual for people and stuff, so that's always nice to hear.
I think we mentioned last week, I think this is episode 12, we're dead early on. People are really kind about it. We have a boss laugh doing it, so it's great. And
it's great to have the momentum, and like I say, people enjoying it, which is a bonus. So
obviously, big shout out to Monterex again. Yeah, our sponsorship with them is going to kick off properly round about the start of July. But again, massive thanks to them for being on board. And again, Impact Chauffeurs, who sponsored this particular episode. Hope you have a boss weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tell your friends about it, like it, subscribe, and we'll see you later.